All right, let's keep moving. I am sorry, but we'll get to your question, I promise, during the question and answer session. Our next speaker is Denise Bryan from the district. She's the health officer with the District 2 Health Department.
Good evening. I'm Denise Bryan. I'm the health officer for District Health Department number 2. Thank you for coming out. I know it's time away from your families, and I see a lot of business people that also are taking time away from their work. It's a complex topic, and sometimes that can be overwhelming, and I'm grateful for the experts that are here tonight to share information. On February 26, when I learned of the recommendation to avoid consuming the water, I issued a health advisory to the residents drinking those well water that was sampled and tested. And I did that by calling and then knocking on doors. I used our sanitarians who are familiar with your community and people, and they went door to door to provide an opportunity to give the health advisory and start the dialogue and the questions. Tonight, one of the things I'm able to share is individuals affected by the health advisory will be eligible to get a water access voucher, and the township, Ann and Bob, have been very gracious in working with us to provide a local short-term plan for the municipal water, because one of the things I learned is our municipal water is very safe and it's high-quality water. So we will be working with families. I will also tell you that Walmart and Rogers are donating 5-gallon containers so that you can get water in a container and provide your family. And it's unlimited for the people that are undergoing the testing and the PFCs are being detected. But I think it's important to recognize that there's going to be short-term solutions, and in terms of the municipal access, there's a long-term range. And we really need to collectively look at the identified problems, and that's why I'm thankful you're here to share your concerns and your stories, because we're listening. We have a lot of legislators here listening to us as well, and I'm grateful for their time. So we need that collective voice to spur action and take it to the next level. So District Health Department number 2 employees are local. We are here and we're going to be available. We updated our website to have a worksmith activities, so you can visit the website and you can get information as well. And we will work with the experts. I keep learning more about the topic. Emerging chemical contamination. That is of interest to this community given the history here. So every time I listen to Christina Bush, I'm thankful for her expertise and I learn more. We have the DEQ. So we have some really dedicated people. And one of the things that was shared with me was that people appreciate the conversation and the information, but they want to know action steps too. So that's a role in sharing communication and advocating for you, and that will be an ongoing commitment of myself as your health officer, the Board of Health Commissioners, and the IOSCO commissioners. I have spent time to update them, and they are very concerned for this issue as well. So I would like to continue the presentation to listen to the next presenters. I will be available afterwards if others want to come up and ask me questions as well. Any questions right now? Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Our next speaker is Chuck Thomas, who is a supervisor with the MDEQ's Office of Drinking Water Municipal Assistance.
Good evening. I understand, and I heard the question about municipal water. Before we get too far along the line here, I think we all recognize that municipal water is the remedy of choice for most people. However, that remedy does have a high cost associated with it, and the funding right now for that is not there. We need to collectively work towards something like that. And but in the interim, for people who have impacted wells and you get tired of going and hauling water from someplace and you want to be able to use your water, some of the options you have would be to install some treatment devices in your home. And I'm going to try to talk a little bit about that, what would be a viable device, what would work for you. The state of Minnesota did a significant study on what treatment devices work well for removal of PFCs. And what was identified was a combination of granulated activated carbon with reverse osmosis units. And up here right now is just a picture of a couple of reverse osmosis units. And what you're seeing there is a typical under the sink type of unit. The typical reverse osmosis has what's called a pre-filter, which takes out some of the bigger molecules. And then it has a carbon filter to take out some of the other stuff, and then a membrane to kind of finish. And they may be in that order, or it may be reversed. You may have the membrane and then the carbon filter afterwards for what's called polishing. There's just a couple of examples up there. Here's what they look like underneath your sink. Just a small installation. These are not meant to treat all the water in the house. They're only meant to treat the small amount of water that you would use for cooking and drinking, because they don't produce tremendous amounts at one time. Go ahead. Here's a couple of examples of units that would treat a larger amount of water, more, that it might be down in your basement instead of under your sink. And again, it's the same concept. You have a pre-filter membrane and there we go, there, and a carbon filter in there.
What's the cost?
I'll get to that in just a second. Here's another example of some home units. Okay, to answer the question about the cost, because that was my next point here. You can get these small under the sink reverse osmosis units anywhere. You'll see them priced anywhere from a couple $100 to $800. Typically, installed costs are around $500. You get them. You get installation from a reputable water treatment dealer or from your plumber. One thing I caution you on is, because you're installing these to remove PFCs, to make sure that the carbon filter component is significantly large. There are some, I don't think it's on, go back, if you go back one picture, if you would please. One there, yeah. Yeah, okay. This particular unit has a small inline carbon filter. I would not recommend that type of loan. I would recommend, if you got something like that you made sure that one of these 3 units also was a carbon filter, because these small inline polishing filters would not remove enough of the PFCs. Question back here.
What's the price to hook up to municipal water?
I was talking to your regional water authority folks today, and they talked to me, they said something in terms of around $100 per foot for water main. So depending on where you're located, I mean, if your house is where water main is already, then you're probably looking at maybe a couple of $1,000s for the service line and water meter, curb stop. Okay? If the water main's already in front of your house. If the water main's not there, you got to get it there. And so the construction costs of everything is around $100 a foot.
So you're saying around 2,000 tap-in fee if it's sitting in front of in your yard?
Well, I wouldn't call it tap-in fee. I would call that the cost to install a service line, curb stop, and a meter. I don't know if your utility has a separate tap-in fee or not. That would, I can't answer that question, but just in terms of typical construction costs, that'd be about what it is. Go ahead. Keep going. Another way to, is another thing for a whole house would just be granulated activated carbon. And if you did go that route to treat all of your water, you want to make sure you have a redundancy there, because these things need to be changed out. With the granulated activated carbon, it absorbs the contaminant, and it comes to a point where it is reached its absorbent capacity, and you have to change the filter out. So you want to make sure you have two so you can bypass during the change out. Yes?
With the, the municipal water did have PFCs in it, it was a low amount, and we're being told not to be too concerned about it, but with the, I don't know what the parts per trillion is in the municipal water, after a 5-stage reverse osmosis, does it take it to 0, or is it, what would the level be?
The granulated activated carbon plus reverse osmosis, as in the state of Minnesota studies, showed that it's pretty much 100% removal. Basically the non-detect. We can't really say 100% because we don't know. We just know it's non-detect. The thing about it only is that we don't recommend that you rely on treatment devices for your own personal public safety in the long term, because these things have to be properly maintained. They don't last forever. They have a shelf. They have a use life. They have to be maintained. And what the point is with the granulated activated carbon is, when it becomes full, you don't know it's full, and then when it becomes full, it will actually start releasing more contaminants than what it's taking out. So you have to be careful. Okay. And this is just a picture of what they look like in reality. I don't have any more pictures, but I can certainly try to answer some questions about water and water treatment. Yes, sir.
Does a softener with a media tank work the same as after?
No, it does not. A softener will not remove these contaminants. No, it will not remove these contaminants. You have to have the charcoal, and the reverse osmosis membrane actually just keeps things from passing through. I saw a hand going up in the back. No? Anything else? All right, well, thank you for your time.